The wind howled through the Zagros Mountains, carrying the dust of empires that had crumbled long before Rome even laid its first brick. Dr. Elias Thorne, a culinary archaeologist, wasn't hunting for gold or jewels. He was hunting for a flavor that hadn't touched a human tongue in 3,000 years. Dr. Thorne, the shout echoed from the excavation pit below. It was Sarah, his lead excavator. We found the seal. It's intact. Elias scrambled down the ladder, his heart pounding. In the center of the chamber sat a single, squat clay jar, sealed with beeswax and stamped with a mysterious sigil, the gilded wheat stalk. This was a relic of the Kib-Nala, a civilization wiped out by a volcanic cataclysm. Legends whispered of their feast of the Eclipse, a meal so perfect it supposedly ended a 100-year war just by bringing the generals to the table. Careful, Elias breathed, pulling on gloves. This isn't just a jar, Sarah. This is the amphora of eternity. If the translations are right, it contains the starter culture for the sumac ale, the sauce that bound the peace treaty. Back in their mobile lab, a sterile clean room amidst the ancient dust, Elias placed the jar under a molecular scanner. The screen lit up, double quotes lipids ... preserved. He muttered. Trace amounts of tartaric acid. Wild yeast strains ... dormant, unviable, and ... My God, what is it? Sarah asked, leaning in. See this spike? Elias pointed to a jagged red line. That's Silphium. Sarah gasped. Impossible. The Romans ate Silphium into extinction. It hasn't existed for 2,000 years. The Kib-Nala had it first, Elias whispered, his eyes wide. And according to this, the chemical structure is preserved in the resin. We don't just have the recipe, Sarah, we have the DNA, we can grow it back. 6 months later, the Smithsonian Institute of Culinary History was abuzz. Elias stood in the resurrection greenhouse, a top-secret sector of the museum. Before him, under violet grow lights, sat rows of small, heart-shaped leaves, Silphium, the lost spice of antiquity. It had taken 20 geneticists to reconstruct the plant from DNA fragments, grafting them onto modern fennel. It smells ... medicinal, remarked Julian, the museum's head chef, a man with 3 Michelin stars to his name. Wait until you crush it, Elias said. He pinched a leaf, and instantly, the air filled with an aroma that defied logic. It was sharp like garlic, floral like roses, and earthy like truffles, all at once. It was a scent that made the mouth water instinctively. Tonight is the test, Elias announced. We have the Silphium. We have the wild emmer wheat. We have the venison. We are going to recreate the feast of the Eclipse. The event would be streamed live. The pressure was immense. If it worked, they would be tasting a ghost. The kitchen was a space of intense, silent focus. Elias wasn't a chef, but he was the conductor, reading from translated tablets. Let the meat weep over the fire for the time it takes the moon to rise, he read. That's slow roasting, low heat. Julian, keep the venison at 200 degrees. But the centerpiece was the sauce, the sumac ale. Elias grated the cultivated Silphium stalks into a mortar, adding crushed walnuts, pomegranate molasses, and the revived yeast culture from the jar. The text called it the blood of night, Elias said, his voice trembling. I think we're doing it, but something was missing. The tablet mentioned the final dust, the tears of the mountain. Elias had assumed it was salt, but the sauce was too thin. He raced back to his office, frantically shuffling through his translation notes. Tears of the mountain ... tears ... He stopped at a photo of the excavation site. The Kib-Nala lived near sulfur vents, where ancient pistachio trees grew. Their crystallized sap was known as mastic resin. Mastic, Elias shouted, running back to the kitchen. Stop the reduction, we need chios mastic. Julian paused. I have some for Greek desserts. Are you sure? It's the binder. It's the tears. They crushed the crystal resin and sprinkled it into the violet sauce. Immediately, The liquid tightened, becoming glossy and velvety. The scent shifted, grounding the floral high notes with a piney, resinous depth. The dining room was dimly lit, mimicking a Kib-Nala great hall. A panel of judges, including a notoriously harsh food critic, sat before 5 distinct plates. Cameras zoomed in. "Ladies and gentlemen," Elias announced to the room and the live stream, "you are about to eat a meal that hasn't existed for 3,000 years." The civilization that created this believed that flavor was a language, a way to communicate directly with the soul. The critic sliced a piece of venison, heavily coated in the violet Silphium sauce. The room fell silent. He chewed. He stopped. He closed his eyes. A single tear leaked from the critic's eye. "It's single quotes s dot 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 double quotes," he started, his voice cracking. "It's aggressive. It starts with a bitterness that makes you want to pull away. But then the sweetness rushes in. It tastes like dot 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 relief." An Oxford historian spoke next. "The Silphium. It numbs the tongue slightly, opening the palate. I can taste the smoke of the wood, the iron in the meat, the age of the earth. It's overwhelming." Elias took a bite himself. The explosion of flavor was unlike anything modern. Modern food is designed to be addictive, salty, sweet, fatty. This was a narrative. It had a beginning, middle, and end. The sharp shock of the Silphium was the chaos of war. The deep, savory umami of the meat and walnuts was the struggle. And the lingering aftertaste of honey and mastic was sweet, resinous peace. It wasn't just dinner. It was a story told on the tongue. The broadcast was a global sensation. The feast of the Eclipse went viral. But for Elias, the real victory came later that night, in the quiet, dark kitchen. "We did it, Elias," Sarah said, walking in. "Every restaurant in New York wants the Silphium seeds. We have to be careful," Elias replied, looking at the remaining sauce. "The Kib-Nala didn't eat this for fun. They ate it to remember the cost of war and the sweetness of peace. You think the modern world can understand that?" Sarah asked. Elias dipped a spoon into the sauce. "Maybe not everyone, but tonight, a room full of strangers stopped talking, stopped arguing, and just felt something together. That's what the Kib-Nala intended." He sealed the jar. "We unlocked the flavor." Elias smiled. "Now we have to teach the world how to savor it." They walked out, leaving the aroma of the ancient world lingering in the air. A ghost finally given form, a secret finally told. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into the past, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories.